It's a long way from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama for the ASUN postseason lacrosse tournament. This afternoon from Falcons Stadium at the United States Air Force Academy, the Falcons take on the Utah Utes in the ASUN Conference Opener. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Orman, along with my broadcast partner, a member of the Air Force Academy class of 2007, Danny Bellissimo. And Danny, breaking it down, how do you see it going?
Yeah, so today we have a big matchup for the ASUN conference. We have basically one Alpha playing one Bravo. Big keys to today's game is going to be clearing, face-offs, and ground balls. Clearing-wise, Air Force is about 78%, which doesn't even register in the top 50 for teams in the country, and Utah is the number one. Furthermore, Utah has basically out-ground balled all the teams they've played. Air Force hasn't. Utah's coming in with a face-off win percentage in the 50s. Air Force is in the 40s. You add all those things up, you have possessions. So no matter how many goals Brandon Krause and Brandon Dodd can score, if they don't get the ball, they can't score.
All right, you have the two teams meeting at the center of the field here at Falcons Stadium. And, of course, I think one of the big things that I have noticed, obviously, the big story is the Falcons dropped their first four, Danny, win their next five, perfect momentum coming into conference play.
Yeah, absolutely. They lost those first four, but then they've had nothing but big games here on out. They're getting back in front of the home crowd, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks like a capacity crowd out there today.
It does indeed. It does indeed. And, of course, you mentioned a little bit earlier that the word has been getting out to the wing, and I think you had some Falcons that you were flying with today, and the word is out.
Yep, the word's out. They had a SAMI this morning, a Saturday AM inspection, and so hopefully they get done taking off their service dress and they get down here to cheer on the Falcons.
Utah will be moving from your left to your right. That'll be from north to south here at Falcons Stadium, and here we go. The Air Force Academy Falcons are favored to win the conference, and guess who's right behind them? If you said the Utah Utes, you would be right on the money. So here we go with the face-off and possession. We are just underway here. We've played all of about 30 seconds here in the first quarter of play. Jeffrey Orman, Danny Bellissimo along with you. You've heard the keys to victory from Danny. Now let's see how things play out. This is the fourth meeting between these two teams. Falcons lead at 2-1. Every one of them has been a one-goal game. Last year, the Falcons won here at Falcons Stadium in overtime. Tight, tight, tight would probably be the best way to put this match today.
Yeah, so that's exactly what Air Force wanted. They had a big stop on defense. Jason Rose up to the task, and then they got their first clear underneath their belt. So hopefully they're able to clear better than that 78% that they're showing for the season so far.
And the Falcons in possession here for their first time. Get a little double team action down here.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious Utah's watched the game tape because they immediately came out and double teamed Brandon Dodd. But good ride from Air Force. They get the ball back and a fresh 80 on the shot clock.
These two teams, good rivalry setting up for this one. And I know that the head coach for Air Force, Bill Wilson, in his fourth year as the head coach at the Air Force Academy, he's very impressed with this program. He says they're doing it right, Danny.
Yep, absolutely. Nice shot, hit the side of the cage. Brandon Krause has got a shorty. That's exactly what Air Force wants. He's taking them behind.
And the Falcons trying to maybe get one in close, in tight, on the doorstep, if you will, so to speak.
That was a nice look at the cage from Aiden Toller. Hit the goalie, so we get a fresh 60 seconds on the shot clock.
Brandon Krause coming into this match today with 42 points, 32 goals, and 10 assists. And Brandon Dodd, 38 points on 24 and 14.
And what's even more impressive about Dodd's numbers is he's only played in 8 of the Air Force games today, or this season so far.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Air Force behind the net as they try to set up.
Another good ride by Air Force, getting another ground ball on the offensive side of the field.
That's one of the things that I think the last broadcast that you and I did together, that's very, very important to get those ground balls, because it kind of, does it not? It kind of determines who's the toughest guy, who wants it more, me or you.
Yeah, exactly. Not only does it say that you're tougher than them, but you keep possession. And that's what we want. We want as many possessions as humanly possible, and we need to start testing Utah's goalie. Looking at his numbers, he's only got about a 45% save percentage, but he's got a 10.98 goals against average. So what that's telling me, he's got a really good defense in front of him, but Air Force just needs to test him and pepper him as much as possible.
And I think that has been, as you saw how the Utes were setting up. Here's a loose ball. It's going to be picked up. And as we take a look at the Utes on their second attack on defense, being cleared out. Goal being vacated.
Yeah, Jason Rose putting the team on his back, getting the ground ball and starting to clear, and here Air Force comes back on offense.
Jason Rose save percentage 53%. So obviously that is going to be the last line of defense. Is going to be very important as the Falcons do a little substituting. You know, we talked a little bit, Danny, with the injuries. A lot of the pressure has been put on the midfielders. And obviously, when you win 5 in a row, things are starting to fall into the slots, which you've got to really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, the offense goes through 2 guys for Air Force, and that's Brendan Krause and Brandon Dodd.
Exactly right.
So Utah's going to have you have a hard enough time shutting down a guy like one of them. I mean, they're up. We'll see if they're up to the task today and shutting down 2 of them.
But, you know, I can't help but wonder, Danny, with a game like this, you know, so much is going to be focused on the killer bees, but who's going to come through that maybe nobody's really expecting, or maybe a player that's been coming on strong? That could be a factor as well. I just see this as being one of those games. Yes, you talk about the 2 leading scorers, but they're not the only ones that can put it in the cage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Aiden Tolan is having a big season so far. Aiden's got 12 goals, 4 assists. So look to have a big game. He had a really good look at the cage earlier on their first possession, and ended up the goalie for Utah made a pretty nice save.
Utah on the attack. They will let fly with 1. That's not the way. And there's the first shot. And that'll be the first goal of the afternoon for Utah. And they lead by the score of 1-0 as we take a look at the replay. And it just got past him. That should be number 2, I think, if I'm reading that number correctly.
Jared Angula. That's his 6th goal on the season.
So here we go with the face-off. And again, we talked about this a little bit earlier about how big this could be. And it will go to Air Force. I think I just saw a procedure penalty called by the official. Oh, there could have been a flag, I think, as a takedown. We might have had one. Nope, don't see a flag.
Yeah, I think the flag got caught in the ref's belt buckle there, because that looked like a little bit more than just keep the possession.
I thought I saw a little shot to the head myself, but then again,
I would concur, but we are all the way up here in the press box.
Thank you, Colonel. I appreciate that. Thank you for the backup.
Yeah, I'd like to think my eyes are pretty good since I fly a plane twice a day. But
I was going to say, there's a lot better than mine. I drive a car about 2. All right, here are the Falcons behind the net as they come on the attack. You see the time remaining, 8:54 in the first quarter. This could be a very low-scoring affair. I think 12-11 is the goal differential. Utah having that advantage, and as we mentioned to you a little bit earlier, these teams have played each other. This will be meeting number 4. There's a shot, and there's the equalizer.
That looked like Kyle Griffith just out-hustling. Air Force is just out-hustling these guys right now on that last possession. They had a really good look. It looked like Brendan Krause rang a pipe, and then they got the ground ball afterwards and were able to finish it.
That is the 10th goal of the season for Rivet.
Oh, it looks like they called that one off for some reason. I'm
Did they
not
waive
sure.
it?
Yep.
All right, so the score will still stay at 1-0.
Not sure what they called, but if I got to look at the replay, he might have stepped in the crease. He was so close to the doorstep.
So you got to shake it off and continue to play. And so Falcons in position. Let's see if they can make up for this. Little reverse move, set up behind the cage. I think patience being the virtue today, Danny. I mean, you don't want to rush the shots, as you mentioned. You do want to pepper the goal, but no wild shots allowed.
Yep.
You got to make them count.
You know, I like Air Force's game plan so far. They're peppering the goal. They're controlling the time of possession. And really, all the shots that Utah has gotten so far on Air Force have all been kind of unsettled situations.
Air Force staying patient. Shot clock could.
That's another hold. Air Force is going to go man up after this.
That'll help. On the man up situation for Air Force, they've scored 9 goals. And that's where we have the stoppage of play. I'm sure the official has come to the side there. That'll be 30 seconds, obviously, on the hold situation. I'll tell you, in a game of this magnitude, you have to take advantage. I know these are all sporting cliches, folks, but I mean, they come into play time and time again. You have to take advantage of what's given you. With the Utes playing the tight defense, man up becomes huge. So let's see if the Falcons can capitalize as you get a good look at number 5 in your picture. That's Aiden Tolan who put the ball in play.
Yeah, Air Force's man up is coming in at about 53% success rate so far this year. That's good enough for number 7 in the country.
There's a shot. Knocked away. And I think that is being retrieved by number 31, Kyle Griffith, who had his goal taken away from him.
But yeah, Air Force came out in that 1-4-1. They ran the reel. And Alex Stephanie got a pretty good look at the cage and just put it over the crossbar.
All right, there's a shot from long distance, and that's going to go wide left. There's Alexander Stephanie retrieving. He's number 14 in your picture there. Now the ball is loose, 50-50. Looks like Utah has possession. Air Force really trying to make their lives miserable on their end of the field. As a little traffic direction, long uplet pass. And did it go out of bounds? I believe it did.
It looks like Air Force is going to get that ball back. That guy was wide open on the other side of the field, just an errant pass, which is a little surprising from the number 1 clearing team in the country.
There's Bardock will put it in bounds. So far here in the first quarter, despite the score, it looks like a lot of this opening quarter has been played on the Utah side of the field, Danny.
Yeah, it has. Looks like we got a stoppage of play right now. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but the referee is walking over to the game clock operator.
Okay. That would indicate to me that that is the issue. Are we going to get some more time put on? We have, as you see, 6:01 left to play. Are we going to get some added time here? Good crowd on hand here at Falcon Stadium at the United States Air Force Academy, and why not the big match, preseason favorite Air Force against number 2 Utah. At least that's the coaches poll in the ASUN. Falcons 5 wins in a row after dropping their first 4. All right, I think we've got the issue settled, whatever it is, and now the Falcons come on the attack. Attacking the north goal here at the stadium. That pass got away, but it's fielded by Air Force.
And just like you said, you know, they're on a 5-game win streak right now, but what's even more impressive is the last 3 have all been on the road.
Yes, absolutely. You don't get a lot of calls on the road, folks. Kyle Griffith. Kyle Griffith getting a lot of touches today, so I'm just wondering, Danny, if maybe they're going to be using him to be the trigger man all day, or at least most of the day, trying to feed the killer bees, if it were.
Yep. You know, Brendan Krause has been a little quiet so far. He did get the shorty behind the cage, couldn't make anything work there, but look for him to start trying to take over this game once he starts getting the ball.
Oh, they had a good look there.
Zion Descheri had a pretty nice save there, stood on his head.
Watch this again. I mean, from ground level. I mean, they had a pretty good look.
Yep.
And that is Zion Descheri, who...
And Brandon Dodd just driving from X and putting it away. The big fella. You can't stop that train when he starts moving upwards. Yeah, he just got a step on his guy, had his stick in his left hand, and just put it into the back of the net.
So that gets the equalizer. And for Brendan Krause, that's goal number 33 on the 2022 campaign, and we're at 1, and I don't think anybody is surprised that the score is where it is here in the latter stages of quarter number 1. Here's the all-important face-off. We've talked about this. Good look at, I think Air Force got it. Or did they? Nope, Utah has it. And they're going to try and get things started. Look at that Air Force defense. Everybody packing it down near the goal there, Danny. And Air Force comes away with it.
Yeah, I think the Fogo for Utah, you know, his eyes were a little bigger than what he can handle there, Cole Brams. Looking from his stat sheet, he's got a bunch of shots on goal this year, so if he picks one out on the face-off X, he's going to take it to the cage. But Air Force did a nice job just staying at home in their fast break defense and made him cough it up.
I think another factor that we haven't mentioned yet is going to be the team speed. And again, a lot of this first quarter being played on the Utah side of the field. Be very interesting to see when we've had some breakaways, but we'll just see how the team speed comes into play here. If you can run a guy down, yeah, you'll take that. Actually, Kane with a touch for Air Force.
Yep, look at that. Real early slide to Dodd.
Brandon Dodd, they put 2 guys on him. I'll tell you what, they have him on the radar, don't they?
Yep, absolutely, especially considering he grew up in their backyard over in Logan, Utah.
A little homecoming, well, not really a homecoming of sorts, but you bet he has a nodding acquaintance with a few of these guys, eh?
Yep, absolutely. And he's probably got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if they recruited him, but he's definitely going to make them pay for him not wearing the black and red.
Now Utah on the attack with Air Force coming back on the defensive side. We talked about the team speed. Right now, I'd have to say it's, well, at least on that particular series, fairly even. Air Force was able to get back.
Looks like Utah is going to take a timeout here. I don't blame them. All of their offensive possessions have all been unsettled, so their coach is probably just trying to get them to settle down here and run an actual possession. And
we'll take one as well. You see the score at the 3:07 mark of period number 1. All tied up at 1 apiece. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse here on Falcon Vision. Falcons Stadium here at the United States Air Force Academy. Air Force against Utah in the ASUN Conference Opener. We'll recap the scoring, and that should take about 10 seconds. But right now, Utah on the attack. And they obviously trying to favor the long distance shot. Nothing going there. Outlet pass, and I think Falcons trying to run the break.
It's a real nice save there by Jason Rose. And then he got that ball out of his stick, I think, as quick as anyone could possibly do it. Unfortunately, he missed the pass, but it came all the way down to the offensive side of the field. Dodd was able to get a push from behind, and Air Force is going to have the possession.
Jared Andriello scoring the first goal for the Utes, and then Air Force's Brandon Dodd getting the equalizer, and that's where we are here in period number 1. Opening ASUN conference game. And the Falcons do not want to disappoint. There's a nice spin move. They tried to set a pick, I think, or get a screen, not a pick, a screen. I think that's a better word for a pick. They probably would have gotten a flag.
Yeah, it's just like basketball. So if you stand tall and you don't move, you can set those picks. But as soon as you start moving, just like basketball, the referees are going to blow it dead and give it to the other team. But this is exactly what Air Force wants. Got Brendan Krause out in the alley with a shorty.
Falcons trying to go ahead. It'll be the first time they've had the lead today. But instead it is Utah that clears, and they will trigger their offense in motion. Let's see how the Falcons will deploy defensively. Looks like they have 3 back towards the cage, so they're going to make them work. Everybody trying to set up from behind. It looks to me, Danny, like Utah is trying to score from long distance and trying to penetrate, and there's a perfect example right there. And this one is a goal for Utah as they go up now 2-1.
It looks like number 25 for Utah scored that goal.
And that will be Koa Todd.
Assistant number 33, Casey Wasserman.
He has not scored a lot for Utah.
Yeah, what happened on that play was in the transition, Wes Peen got caught having to go over on defense. And then they tried to get him to fire X to get Tommy Hellman, a more defensive-minded midi, to back on defense, and it caused an unsettled, brief man-up situation for Utah.
That's a second goal for Todd. And the Falcons trailing 2-1 as now the momentum shifting a little bit towards Utah as they're starting to play a little bit more on the Falcons side of the field. Being carried over towards the south end zone. 27 seconds, I think they could, and I'm guessing we'll probably let the time run out here in period number 1. Let's see how frisky they want to be back here. Now they want to drive with 9 seconds left to go, see if they can get something here. Air Force really playing tough. There's a move that gets the defender out of position, but the shot goes wide, and that will probably wrap up 1/10 of a second. That'll wrap up the first period. We'll just call it as it is here. So,
Yeah.
unless we get a miracle shot here.
Yeah, what's 0.1 seconds between
Yeah,
frames?
yeah, exactly. Gee, it may take, there we go. And that will do it for period number 1. Utah leads the Air Force Academy, and ASUN Conference Opener action by the score of 2-1. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon Vision. Getting ready to start the second quarter of play. Second quarter face-off. I'm Jeffrey Orman along with Danny Bellissimo. You see the Utah Utes on top in this ASUN Conference opener. Danny, what'd you see in the first quarter?
I saw, a pretty good offensive game plan from Air Force. They absolutely controlled the time of possession for the entire first quarter. They just weren't able to put them in the onion basket.
Face-off won by Utah. They lead in that department 4-1. Getting a little physical.
Yeah, but Brian Michael, he basically came up with that ground ball, even though who came up with that? Chris Barduck ended up finally cleaning it up, but Brian Michael was the one that got it out of the scrum, and he's just showing a lot of poise over at the face-off X so far. Should be 3-2 in favor of Utah, but not too bad considering Utah's coming into the game with an over 50% at the face-off X.
So the Falcons moving from north to south. And let's see if that south goal has got a hole in it there for the Air Force Academy Falcons. Again, so far as the shots on goal, we're even up at 5. And we just, you can change that statistic as another equalizer for the Falcons.
Gavin Peen with the goal. That's just textbook lacrosse there. They're just finding the shorty, dodging from the alley, then feeding the crease, and putting it right back behind Utah's goalie.
That is check my numbers here. I think that is goal number 5 for Gavin. And what we say, you gotta get everybody involved. Here we go with the face-off again. They're still digging. I got a feeling the intensity level has just been ratcheted up, Danny. Here come the Utes on the attack. 2-2 is the score. It's been Utah, Air Force, Utah, Air Force. That's been the pattern so far.
Jason Rose with another nice save there.
We mentioned that Air Force Academy head coach Bill Wilson in his 4th season as the head coach. He's been with the program for 13 years. And for the Utah Utes, they have a first-year head coach at the helm, and Andrew McMinn. I think we've got a few celebrities here today, Danny. We've got some former coaches here and some people who have been part of this Air Force Academy program.
Yeah, just looking down at that capacity crowd, I can see Coach Acey sitting next to Coach Kohler. They were the head coach and the assistant coach while I was a cadet here. Coach Acey looks like he's wearing an orange fleece today. I guess it was laundry day. He couldn't find anything blue.
Laundry day. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Little connection between the programs, though, is Coach Acey's son, Mike Acey, who played at University of North Carolina, won a national championship there, runs one of the biggest lacrosse programs in Utah now, where a lot of these guys in the Utah roster come from.
Bounce shot, and that goes Ryan. Air Force comes on the attack. Good defense by both sides today, Danny. Here come the Falcons on the move.
Jason Rose is standing on his head so far today. It looks like Utah's got about 7 shots on goal. Only 2 have gone into the back of the net so far, so he's playing really well.
There was a check.
Brendan Krause trying to get on the scoreboard, let one loose, just a little bit wide, a little high.
And here we go with referee signaling possession. And here come the Falcons. I think so far this matchup has been everything we thought it might be. Chase Douglas getting a touch now for the Falcons. Now they try to penetrate. Shot goes high and
Dodd.
right into the can.
Brandon Dodd I tell you, he's a runaway locomotive once he starts going downhill. You can't stop him with just your arms. Just a left-handed overhand to the top corner for all you kids watching at home. That's how you do it. Overhand shots.
First lead of the day for Air Force, and it comes off the stick of Brandon Dodd's second goal of the day, 26th of the season.
Yeah, so we talked about Air Force owning the time of possession in the first quarter and getting a lot of good looks, but now they need to start scoring in bunches and run away with it. Because if you look at the stat sheet for Utah, the majority of the goals they score are in the third quarter.
Falcons get the face-off. Here they come on the attack. That was Krause that handled it. Goes out to Shad Bruce. Falcons coming to the strong side of that Utah goal. Well, that seemed to have lit a fire under this offense a little bit, Danny. I mean, they go goal, win the face-off, here they come.
Yep, absolutely, and that's what they need to do. They need to start scoring in bunches, and that starts with Brian Michael at the face-off X.
Aiden Tolan with a touch out by the 40-yard line. Gavin Peen trying to penetrate. Gavin with a pass. Oh, cross-field pass.
I like where Gavin Peen's head was at. He drove to the cage, saw the slide coming, and he had Brendan Krause right on the doorstep, but he just put the pass a little too high, a little too hot.
So here come the Falcons, and look at that pressure being put on by Air Force, getting a little physical.
Yeah, looked like a little bit of a ward there, but what do I know from all the way up here in the press box?
Well, I'm going on your observation there. That would have been a nice little 30-second whistle. There's a shot and an equalizer by Utah, and back and forth we go, folks.
Look like number 31, Ruben Santana, with the goal. That will be his 8th of the season.
3 different players have scored now for the Utes.
Yeah, and if you look at the stat sheet for Utah, you look at Air Force's stat sheet and you see a bunch of heaps of goals from Brendan Krause and Brandon Dodd, but you look at Utah, you got Jordan Hyde with 21, and then you got Tyler Bradbury with 12, and then after that it's a bunch of 8s, 7s, and 5s. So they have a really balanced attack over there for the Utah offense.
They're going to call a hold. And that should give Air Force their second man up, I do believe. That should be a 30-second whistle if I read that official correctly.
Yeah, since he called it without possession, Air Force just gets it. No one has to go to the sin bin.
Okay.
I kind of wish the referees would have let him play, because once Chris Bardock picked up that ground ball, it would have been a fast break for Air Force. So we would have had a better advantage than just stopping the play there.
Number 55, Chase Douglas, trying to set things up for the Air Force offense here in the second period of play. Falcons trying to get in close for the score. This is knocked away. And so far, everything I think we talked about in the pregame has come to fruition. I think we mentioned that once before.
Yeah, Brandon Dodd just drove for Max, got up to 5-5. Got a pretty good look at the cage, just missed the near side post there.
And here come the Falcons, just setting up. It's going to be possession going to Utah as that one went awry. I would say it's a typical Utah Air Force game. They've only played 4 times, but so far everything seems to be what you've seen in the past seems to be playing out here in this particular match of this ASUN Conference opener. Tommy Hillman is playing some tight defense there. And Utah just working that ball around. Now they come on the attack, getting a little bit more aggressive, but they're not going to go through that Falcon wall. They had a nice defense, it looked like Danny set up, and they said, nah, we're not going to do that.
Yep. Utah so far has been trying to get the wrong defensive personnel caught on.
Another long bomb, and that scores, and Utah goes back in front.
Look like number 3, Cody Hart. That is going to be his second goal of the season. All he did was drive from the alley, nice little pick, had his hands free, put it low off stick side.
And so the Utes go back on top. It's amazing. They're doing it from long distance. They have a lot of confidence in these guys that can shoot from outside. And they lead it by the score of 4-3. Air Force fumbles that ball out of bounds, and it's going to come to Utah. Turnover with 8:07 left to go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Braden Gabe actually had a really nice face-off win there and just errant pass and gave back to Utah.
Unofficially, they've got Air Force on top in the face-off category, 5-4, and that's a very important stat to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely, but we can't turn the ball over once they get it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Let's see if he's going to do a shot from that, knocked away by Rose. Here comes the Utes. So tried a little wraparound shot there. Now they're going to try one from the doorstep. Knocked away by Rose. Utah picks it up, and it's going to go over to Air Force.
I said he stepped in the crease after his shot. Air Force with a quick start. Don't let Utah get set up and get that ball to the other side of the field.
Exactly right. Looked like somebody was trying a flying check there and totally whiffed.
Tommy Hellman with the nice clear there. We had Vinny Lombardi up in the booth last week, and he was telling me he played with Tommy, and that kid's just a gym rat, you know, first in, last out kind of guy.
And that's how you become good, folks. You live this game. Kyle Griffith. Here we go with Air Force just working the outside. Aiden Tolan now with a touch. Dishes off to number 24. That's Gavin Peen. Here comes Brandon Krause. Let's see if the B can get it. And he lets it go, and a little high and wide.
Yeah, that was a breakdown of Utah's defense right there. I mean, if they've watched as much tape on Brendan Krause as I have, you don't not slide to that guy. So they got away with one right there because 9 times out of 10, Brendan buries that one.
And I'm guessing when you say what you want to do is you don't necessarily want to slide towards him. You want to slide to the area where you think he's going to shoot.
Yes, exactly correct.
That's why I read a long time ago that Wayne Gretzky, that was how he scored. He never went to where he always went to where he thought the puck was going to be and was able to go from there. And the last time I looked, he did pretty well.
Yeah, you know, with a nickname like the Great One.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, call me
it's hard
foolish.
to argue with that.
Yeah, call me foolish, but that's, you know. All right, here's Utah. And they fire and hit, and they've just got their biggest lead of the day. They have a 2-goal advantage. That one was in close.
Looks like number 22.
Nice play, nice spin move. MJ McMahon. Biggest lead of the day for the Utes. They're up by 2.
Yeah, he got the shorty behind. And when an attackman gets a short stick defender behind the goal, that's like smelling blood in the water. You know he's going to drive it to the cage. Looks like Coach Wilson called a timeout there. He's going to try to stop the bleeding and get the troops back under control.
And we'll take one as well with 5.5 left to go before the intermission. Utah leading at 5-3 in this ASUN Conference opener. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon Vision.
For everything you want to know about Air Force athletics, visit GoAirForceFalcons.com. Be sure to also check out
Goal run by the Utah Utes gives them the 5-3 lead as we have the face-off. And the Falcons coming up with it. As head coach Bill Wilson, following that goal by Utah, called a timeout, obviously trying to slow down that momentum, maybe make some adjustments, and obviously worked on the face-off. So here we go as the Utes extending their defense a little bit.
Yeah, the past two face-offs, they've sent out Braden Gabe out to take them, and right now he's got the hot hand because he's gotten 2 quick pops on Utah. Air Force settling into their offense. They got about 40 seconds left in the shot clock.
Working that ball around the perimeter. Alexander Stepney with a couple of steps. They come out to greet him. Here's a feed down to the right side. 50-50 ball, and it's going to be scooped up by Air Force. Tried to save it from going out of bounds, I believe. And the Falcons have it, and oh man, are they getting worked over on that side by the Utah Utes.
Yeah, once Dodd came up with that ground ball, and he was, I mean, that looked like a dark alley with someone getting mugged there. Coach Wilson was quick to call the timeout to keep the possession.
And we'll take another one as well with 4.5 left to play before the intermission. 5-3 Utah in this ASUN Conference opener. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon Vision. Quick check of the stat numbers. Shots on goal in favor of Utah, 11-7. Ground balls again in favor of the Utes, 9-7. Face-offs, Air Force on top, 6-4. But right now the Utah Utes with a 2-goal advantage, as when the score was tied at 3-3, they put 2 in the basket. Air Force with possession.
Brandon Krause has got the shorty.
And he lets one go. Little stoppage of play here. Did that ball go out?
It did. Dodd's picking it up in the corner of the end zone there. Looks like Utah's putting a shorty on Brendan Krause and trying to get him locked off. Looks like they're willing to just play 5-on-5 offense, basically.
Okay, now the Utes will start from their end of the field and head towards the north goal. Here comes.
Oh,
He just flat lost it. That's a big turnover for Air Force. On the carry, he just flat lost the ball.
yeah. I don't think he flat lost the ball. Chris Bardock, you criminal! He just pickpocketed that guy.
Well, we'll give him that.
That was a fancy check if I've ever seen one.
Nicely played. We'll say he lost the ball with a little help.
Yeah.
A little, as you say, pick the pocket. Yeah, we'll take a little thievery at this point. Right now, the Falcons do need to, they're down by 2. James Chastain with a touch as Coach Wilson's doing a little substituting. Utah dropping 3 back in front of that goal area. Here's a long bomb, and that goes to the right side.
Brendan Krause got his hands free and a step on his defender and let loose a lefty howitzer that rang the pipe. At the end of the quarter, Utah's goalie should kiss that post because it bailed him out.
Gavin Peen.
And they just rang another pipe.
Well, let's see now if maybe they can get one between the pipe as the Falcons get up close. Bringing that ball around was Brandon Dodd. And then it seems to me they had they had two men on Brandon Dodd, but they seem to have dropped off and gone back to a man-on-man. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, and it looks like Brandon Dodd's just kind of hanging out in the crease right now, so you don't really need to double a guy right there because he's not in the mix.
There's a shot, and that's exactly what they needed to cut it to one.
It's a good-looking goal by Kyle Griffith there, his 10th on the season.
Assist to number 56.
But yeah, he just got open on the crease and buried it.
Kyle, who had one taken away, says, okay, watch this. Take one away, you give it, you take it away, right? Or we'll reverse that, actually. So, but a lot of that was set up on the nice defensive effort by Air Force, and here's another face-off win by the Falcons. How do you do? And now they're really, here comes Chris Bardak.
Braden Gabe, that's his third face-off win in a row. He popped the first two, and that one he just clamped it and dragged it back. Textbook lacrosse right there at the face-off X.
Suddenly a little attention being drawn. There's a takedown. And the guy says, I didn't do anything. Of course, I didn't see a flag, but I'm not sure that means anything. Are they going to let it go?
Yeah, they're going to say he lost possession. Ooh, that was a really nice save by Zion there,
Yes, it was.
right on the doorstep.
She must have a non-compete clause in her contract.
Zion de Cesare, for pronouncing that name correctly, and we're going off the pronunciation guide, so.
Excellent ride there by Brandon Dodd. Forced the guy out of bounds. He ran out of real estate, and Air Force is coming right back on offense.
Still have some time to get the equalizer. Remember, Utah had a 2-goal lead when it was tied at 3, and now the Falcons could return the favor.
Air Force really needs to bury one here before the end of the second quarter. Tie it up.
Passes a little bit. Well, here we go. Number 14 coming in there. Stepney trying to get things going. Falcons working outside that perimeter. Now they try to penetrate, and that goes wide.
Yep. Brendan Krause again. He's getting good looks. He just hasn't been able to finish it.
Yet.
What party?
That was when, oh, nice move there. Nice move there, and works to the right side. Nice reverse pivot.
Nice stick skills to keep that ball on the offensive side of the field by Air Force's defense.
Can they do it? There's a long distance heave. 10 seconds left to go. And the Falcons will probably set up for one. Lots of substitutions coming in for the Utes. See if the Falcons are going to be making any moves here. I think they're taking 2 out. So what do you run here, Danny, on the with 10 seconds left to go?
So my expertise is on the defensive side of the field and stopping people, but back when I was here, Coach Sermon had this one offensive play. It was called end line, and it was almost unstoppable. I would be in the goal knowing exactly where the shot was coming from, and I would still be picking up the back of the goal most of the time.
Well, let's see how the Falcons will play this one.
Looks like Air Force is man up right now, and they're just going to take possession into the half so that we don't have to go to the face-off for the third quarter.
And that is exactly how the first half of this very important ASUN Conference match will end, with the Utah Utes leading it by the score of 5-4. We will take a look at some numbers when we come back after this. Good match, as we expected it to be. Air Force trailing 5-4 to Utah. You are watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon. Getting ready to start the second half. As you see, the Utah Utes on top by the score of 5-4 as we recap some of the scoring. And it started off the stick of number 2, Jared Andriella, a sophomore out of Raleigh, North Carolina. He puts the Utah Utes on top by the score of 1-0. But it wasn't long before Brandon Dodds says, I'm going to score the equalizer. At that point, it's 1-1. Utes go back on top on this goal by number 25. As a matter of fact, it was his second goal of the year, and that is Koa Todd. But that man again, Brandon Todd, says, pardon me, I'll get us back into this thing. Then the Utes go on a bit of a run as they go to put it up 3-2. Number 31 finding the backside of the net. Then the Utes going on a 2-goal run. Number 22 finding the backside. That's MJ McMahon. Another goal.
And finally, Kyle Griffith comes back there and stops the bleeding for Air Force to go into halftime at 5-4.
Kyle had one taken away and made amends a little bit later. And that's where we stand. So Jeffrey Orman, Danny Bellissimo, as we get ready to start the second half of play of this ASUN Conference opener. We'll take a look at some of the numbers when we return right after this. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. As we get ready to start the second half of this ASUN Conference opener, Utah Utes leading the Air Force Academy Falcons 5-4. This could be a very big third period for the Falcons, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. The third quarter has been the Achilles heel for Air Force Lacrosse so far this year. They're being outscored by their opponents 31-21, and Utah the exact opposite. They're outscoring their opponents 28-22. So if Coach Wilson has that Al Pacino speech from Any Given Sunday, you know, we crawl for those inches. I hope he just gave it to the boys so they come out all fired up.
All right, so here we go as we start the second half of play. And this one is covered up near the doorstep. I think the Falcons tried to get a scoop shot in there. No surprise that this game has been as tight as it is. This is what we expected coming in, and both teams have delivered.
Yeah, it's a shame. Air Force got to start off with the ball because of the penalty from the first half. They got a really nice look feeding the crease there, but Utah's defense just came in with the lumber, and the ball ended up on the carpet.
Shots on goal, 11-10 in favor of Utah. Ground balls, 10-9 in favor of Utah. But the faceoffs are interesting. That goes Air Force's way, 7-4. And the clear is 11-7 in favor of Utah.
Yeah, Air Force has actually done a really nice job clearing the ball today. They just haven't had as many opportunities as Utah has.
Here come the Utes. And they try to let one go. That's not going to work. Rose clears, and here we go.
Yeah. Jason Rose saw that ball all the way in. He was probably screaming gumball as soon as that ball came out of that guy's stick. Stick side high is not going to get past Jason Rose.
Let's see if the Falcons can turn that around a little bit. Lots of time remaining, so you don't want to get too reckless. As you were saying earlier, Danny, you do want to pepper the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. The stats are a little bit of a lie, if you ask me, because we're showing Utah's got 12 shots on goal to Air Force's 10. But if we just counted shots, so not ones that necessarily were on the 6x6 frame, Air Force is out shooting and having more looks on cage than Utah is.
Well, it's time for a good look right here. They're being very, very patient. Spin move, and that extends the defenses. They came out after Brandon Dodd. That seems to be the man. Watch every time he gets the touch. Here's a shot that goes wide left. That's Gavin Peen who let it go. Picked up by Air Force.
I think that's about the fourth pipe Air Force has rang so far today. So it's only a matter of time before someone answers that phone and they start going into the back of the net.
And here's a 50-50 ball. Everybody in the pool, and it is still Air Force's ball. They're really...
Brendan Krause with some fancy foot and stick work there to keep that ball on the offensive side of the field.
As they go to the right side, being cleared. Once again, the ball
Another little hot pizza. Brendan Krause coming up with that loose ball, holding it out like he's pulling a pizza out of the pizza oven.
Gotta love that, Aiden Tolan. Here's Wes Payne. And Air Force, it seems to be their MO. They'll work that ball around the outside.
Back when I was playing here, we had a great long stick midi on the team, Timmy Hade. And he had one of the fanciest long sticks I've ever seen. And he used to always pick up these ground balls and come running down the sideline, holding the 6 feet of pipe out in front of him, screaming hot pizza all the way down the field.
You gotta love it. I love that. ASUN conference opener between the preseason favorite Air Force and Utah, which was picked to finish second. There's a shot, and they just can't seem to find that opening as it's picked up by Air Force. They'll reload and come on again. We talked about this defense, and there was number 45, Brandon Dodd. Every time he takes a breath, he seems he's going to be getting 2 people, and there's no change there.
You know, on that last one, you know, Shorty got stuck covering Dodd there at the X, and the checks he was throwing, I don't know, it looked like he was trying to cut down a cherry tree. I'm surprised there's no laundry on the field.
Goes wide, and now the Falcons, much like we saw in the first quarter, as we have the 10:45 mark, a lot of this third period being played on the Utah side of the field, but that doesn't mean a darn thing unless you can get something in the basket.
Yeah, it looks like Zion, the goalie for Utah, got a piece of that, so we got a fresh shot clock for the Falcons.
Here's a carry. Maxwell Kane working it around. That looked like
calling a loose, or they're calling
Are they
a
calling
loose
a
ball push.
loose
Air Force
ball
is going to
push? Yeah.
keep the ball.
Now it's time to get one past Zion there.
Coach Wilson was given that official right there closest to the box an earful because that loose ball push gets them a reset on the shot clock, and they hadn't done it initially.
So what do the Falcons have to do? They try to get to the doorstep? Do they try to go long? Let's find out here.
They just need to zeroize those sticks there because they're getting their shots, they're getting looks. They're just not able to put it on the 6x6 frame.
And that one was knocked away. Also, the pipe has not been friendly to the Falcons today either, but you can't use that as an excuse, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a home game, so if this
Yeah.
was in Utah, those goals obviously wouldn't be regulation. But
I was going to say, we gotta get rid of this home team. You know, the home team pipe is working against them. What's the story here?
One pass.
All right, so for Utah,
Yeah, that was good.
here they come on the
Japanese tugs in our room, those real deep ones.
on the move.
Yeah.
Moyer.
Hasn't called him?
looks like they're going to take the shorty back behind the goal.
Rose directing traffic. Now they bring a man out.
Nice save there by Jason Rose.
Oh yeah, he's playing big. He's playing
Wheels.
big. And here's a carry. And I think that's our man Brandon Dodd who's carrying it the length of the field, or trying to take it the length of the field before he dishes off.
Oh, it was a long ways. It's in a weird location.
Looks like Air Force has got all their personnel on offense now. They can start running their offensive plays with about 50 left on the shot clock.
Who do you look for? Who do you look for? I guess at this point, just about it. Here's Brandon Dodd. Stop me if you've heard it. He'll probably get double teamed, of course. They try to swing. They swipe. Now he's triple teamed. Now there's a 50-50 ball. Utes come away with it.
Anywhere else besides Lacrosse field, we're filling out a police report right now after what they just did to Brandon Dodd.
This one is high and long. I'll tell you, the way this game is starting to fall in is there is a shot, and that goes wide right. They'll get a reset on the clock. Seems to me, Danny, that almost a 2-goal advantage, if this continues to stay, a 2-goal advantage may start to look like 10. It's been that kind of a match. I mean,
so far it is, but that's the one thing about lacrosse. It's the fastest game on 2 feet, so at any point that can rapidly change.
exactly right.
And with the way Air Force's offense has played really well today, they just haven't been able to put it into the back of the net.
Here they come, and there is a shot. That
He's down there
he thinks he got the goal. Nope.
It's about time the home pipes started working in their advantage.
It's government issue. Let's get real here. Come on. Can't have that foolishness. I would think right now, Danny, Air Force needs to get a save. They've got to get that offense going. I mean, there's still plenty of time left to go in this match. Here's a look. Great save by Rose as he plucked that one. Oh, I'll tell you, he's had a good game in the nets today. You've got to appreciate that being a former goalie. Unfortunately, the pass goes a little long and out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a really nice save by Jason Rose right there, right on the doorstep, and then he was able to control the rebound. He just put a little too much air on it for the outlet pass. But whenever you're going to miss as a goalie making an outlet pass, you make sure it becomes a souvenir for the fans because you don't want them running an unsettled offense right back in your face. So you make sure it goes out of bounds to where your defense can at least get back and set up. My first start in my Air Force career was at Ohio State, and I shorted a pass, and they came in, just walked in and scored. And Coach AC about ate my lunch for that.
Against Ohio State, yeah. They try to wrap around there, and there's the goal. And for the second time today, the Utes have a 2-goal lead.
Yep, just drove from behind and had a one-on-one with the goalie.
Trying to see who they gave that to. Always look for the guy getting mugged, and that's usually a pretty good indication.
That's a United flag, isn't it?
Not sure who that was. Still checking that out. I think there was a 20-something, but we'll wait till that's official.
Yeah, Utah definitely showed up to the Air Force Academy today, making us earn our paychecks with these black jerseys with red numbers.
That's for darn sure. Well, once again, Air Force at a 2-goal deficit. Second time that's been the case today.
Braden Gabe, he's got the hot hand at the face-off X right now. I think that's his 4th or 5th win in a row, and he's doing it with not just one move, but he's got 2. He's popped a couple, and then he's pulled 2 or 3 backwards.
Face-off, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, going to be a very big factor. Here's a look for Air Force, and that just missed, and you just saw the reaction of the Air Force player after the shot. Just had his head up like, oh, I just missed it, but Air Force reloads and has a chance to come again.
Yeah, great hustle. Air Force with a great ride there. Kyle Griffith came up with it, and Air Force is back on the offense. And they have not reset the shot clock, but I'm pretty sure Utah had possession of that.
There's Brendan Krause.
Are you downtown?
Gotta get back in this thing. This ball is loose, scooped up by Air Force. Brendan takes it, Brendan Krause.
Yeah, Brendan was just dumping that towards the end line so that we could get our defensive personnel on the field before the shot clock violation.
So here is Utah. I think right now it's coming down to that part of the game. You just got to really D it up. Don't give Utah a lot of breathing room. The biggest lead in this game so far has been 2 goals by Utah. It's been a modest 2-goal run.
Looks like they're trying to get the shorty behind the goal, but that's Tommy Hellman.
He's really good D there.
Don't tell him he doesn't have.
Oh, there's a long bomb there.
Yeah, that guy just had way too much time and a huge windup. Looks like it was number 25 for Utah.
And that's who we'll give it to, and I think that is his second goal of the day. That's Koa Todd. And now the Falcons down by 3.
Talk about a windup there. He got to deliver that from the stretch.
I think he scored his first goal almost in the same identical spot. Procedure penalty. Air Force ball. And now it's time to get cranking. Dodd loses the ball, picked up by Utah. We talked about this third period, Danny, and
yep. I almost feel like I jinxed us. Yeah, that guy was getting mugged out in the alley, so Utah very smartly called timeout in order to keep the possession.
And we'll take one as well with 3:16 left to play in period number 3. Utah leads at 7-4. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse here on Falcon Vision. All right. There you get a look at some of the fans here at Falcon Stadium, here at the United States Air Force Academy for this very big ASUN conference opener between the Air Force Academy Falcons and the Utah Utes. Utah with a 3-goal advantage here in the third period, and we talked about that third period, Danny, and so far it seems to be coming to fruition, but we still have some time left. Air Force needs to get something going as the long stick trying to slow down the Utes a little bit.
That was a moving pick. That was not called. That guy was in full motion run and stopped the Air Force defender.
Well, they try to get up close. Look for a shot here, but Air Force forces them out. I'm guessing if they can get a little wraparound shot, that's what they're going to be looking for, Danny, are the Utes.
Yeah, they're just trying to move the ball, get Air Force caught in the slide, and find the open man from wherever the slide came from.
There's a wind up and a shot, and that goes. That's a goal, and it's
Josh
now
Stout
8-4.
looked like Jason Rose was screened on that one because I didn't even see him take a step towards the ball. That guy was from 13 yards out. I don't think Jason Rose ever saw it come out.
I'm taking a wild guess. I think that might have been Jordan Hyde. That's the first time we've really had a chance to call his number. We'll try to get a confirmation on that. And suddenly the Utes with a 3-goal run and a 4-goal lead.
When are you going to Seattle?
2:06 left to play here in period number 3. As you see, once again, Utah in control, and suddenly it's become their period.
Seattle used to be such a nice city.
Utah's starting to feel it a little bit. I feel. Talk about peppering the goal. That's exactly what they Utes want to do here. They might get a look here. There's another shot that goes wide.
Yeah, Utah's done a very good job of catching Air Force with the wrong personnel on the defensive side of the field and causing man-up opportunities when Air Force is trying to substitute them through the X.
A reminder that in the ASUN conference, they'll take the top 4 teams. The 16 conference. And I don't think Air Force is thinking about that. They want to get back in this game and not have to look for help. This ball comes off the stick. Loose ball. Picked up again by Utah. It's certainly been their. Now the 50-50 ball goes Air Force's way. Good heads-up play by number 12. That's Tommy Hellman who got the loose ball.
Ooh. Chris Bardock wound up there. He thought for a second of letting one loose.
Well, if anybody's going to let one loose, they had it in the stick of Brandon Dodd, who has a pair today. But any goal is welcome at this point.
Air Force just needs to settle down right now and get on the scoreboard before the end of the third quarter.
A little bit of a hill to climb now, the way this thing has been shaking out. Peen dished it. Trying to get some crisp passing here.
Turtle Bay Hilton up on the north. Well, it's not the Turtle Bay Hilton.
Spin move.
It's Turtle Bay something.
That's Brendan Krause. He might let one go. And he scores!
What a nifty move there.
That booked the route.
Little stanky leg there.
Goal.
This move. Oh.
That was sweet. Yeah.
Come on.
And Brandon Krause puts one in the basket for Air Force. That is goal number 33 for Brandon.
From the looks of it up here, it looked like that defenseman's shoelaces were tied together.
Oh.
That was a pretty nice move by Brendan Krause. But that's exactly what Air Force needed to get on the board in the end of the third quarter. And more importantly, they needed Krause to get on the board. Hopefully that lights a fire under him.
Now let's see how the face-off will go. 50-50 ball still out there. Time expires at the end of the third period. Falcons down by 3 as we head for the final 15 minutes of play in this ASUN conference opener. Utah leads at 8-5. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon Vision.
Last time I stayed there, they only had the one tower.
Brendan Krause with a goal to cut the deficit to 8-5 for Air Force. And Danny, that has to light a fire under this team right now. I mean, this is 15 minutes. You got to get the burn on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, more importantly, not only is it going to light a fire under the rest of the boys there, but it's probably going to calm Krause down. He's coming in to this game as the number 5 attackman in the country with goals per game. So now he's got one under his belt. He can settle down and just play his game.
Well, they got off to a pretty good start on that face-off. So now it's basically a situation where you got to score.
Yep.
You got to score and play D. Comes down to the basics. Sometimes the game is not, or games don't have to be that difficult. Here's Payne. Let's see how the Utes are deploying their defense. They're going to pack the backside. This one goes a little high. So if you're Air Force, you try to get it on the doorstep and try to go for the easy one, or do you just, if you see an opening, you just let it fly?
Just let it fly. You know, Air Force should have 4 or 5 more goals because, you know, they rang the pipe that many times. So just keep doing what you're doing. They're going to start falling.
Here's Brandon Dodd as Air Force set a screen.
But since we're in the 4th, you can't just wait for the perfect opportunity. You just got to keep
Nice.
letting it fly.
Nice spin move, knocked away by the goal. Good play in the pipe. And here comes Utah. They've had a 4-goal lead. Right now it comes down to defense, and in case you missed it, defense. That one goes wide. I think it also went out of play. If I'm looking at the referee or the official correctly, he says it should be Air Force's ball. Now he has his hands spread, so do we have a...
Yeah, they called offsides on Brendan Krause during the ride.
So that'll be a 30 seconds in the sin bin, which you don't need.
Air Force's man-down defense doing pretty well this year, 72% success rate. They're number 13th in the country. So hopefully they're up to the task here. Kill the penalty, get it back on offense, and start scoring some goals.
They have got to be up to the challenge right now, the way this is going. So everybody will be packing it deep. Of course, Utah has shown the propensity for shooting long and scoring. Air Force D, everybody around that goal mouth right now.
just working the ball around the perimeter. Haven't really seen any plays develop yet.
No, not yet, not yet. And I think they're close to killing off that penalty.
Yep, we're back to man-to-man.
That was big. So Utah, let's see if we can try a wraparound. He tries a, goes to the right, goes to the left, and Air Force staying right with him. Falcons have it, I think.
Ooh,
yep.
Fancy work by Tommy Hellman there, getting that ball out from the crease, getting it over to Shad Bruce, and now they're back on offense.
Nice outlet pass. Brandon Dodd with a touch. Can't afford any errors at this point. You've got to carry the ball. You got to get in position. Utah making some substitutions on the fly. I think if the Falcons can cut this thing to 2, it could get kind of interesting as they do a little shove and push there.
Max Kane taking the shorty behind, little 2-man.
There's a shot.
Crease.
And that went wide, and that was taken, I think, by number 10. Was that Josh Yago who fired that one?
That was Brandon Krause.
Oh, Krause had fired it. I beg your pardon.
And just a bit outside.
Here they come.
Actually, only one train on our ride. The rest of it's buses. Oh, wait. We're taking the ferry across the channel.
Spin move there, but Utah on it. Don't want to start trying to drive towards the traffic. That's not the Alexander Stepney now throwing to Kyle Griffith. He has a goal today.
10 left on the shot clock.
We took the high speed from one.
Little swim move by Max Kane.
There's a loose ball, and there's a flag. Now that came, I think, on that pass, did it not, Danny, to the right side of the goal?
I didn't see where the penalty came from, but it looked like it was during Max Kane's shot.
Could it be in the a crease violation? I'm not. Let's see.
I don't think so because they let us keep possession.
Right. All right. Let's see. Are we going to get a look here? Let's see if the official will indicate for us. And I think it's going to go. It is against Utah. We do know that.
Illegal hit.
Okay. So that's a 1 minute.
Yes, it is.
And that should play into the Falcons' hands. He made that signal so fast, I wasn't so sure what he had there, but it was an illegal hit. All right, man up.
Yep. Air Force came into this game with a 53% success rate for their man up offense.
They have a shot here. And that just went, oh, that just got everybody excited. How many times have we had some near misses today, Danny?
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a look at this.
Utah's goalie stood on his head and was able to pick that one out of the air. But that's one that Air Force just has to bury. They could not make mistakes like that.
Kyle Griffith, that would have been his second of the day, and got to give our props to Zion De Cesare, the goalie for Utah. Made some plays. That was a big one right there.
Utah is just going to try to kill the rest of this penalty. They're in no rush with their 3-goal lead right now in the fourth.
And everybody at full strength now. They're back at full strength. Double team by Air Force. Some contact made. I think Air Force just got a turnover.
Yep. Nice little bounce pass over to Jason Rose, and now Air Force is bringing it out.
Here's Caden Wolfson. He got a touch. He's my broadcast partner last year.
I bet we can't after you put him to bed.
Shad Bruce.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just kind of trying to look downfield to see what Air Force might have open. And
about 4,100. No.
West Peen, as they just kind of look over that
all the hotels, 2 meals a day.
defense. Aiden Tola now.
All the trains.
I got a feeling somebody's going to make an attack.
We go through a company called EF Tours. They specialize in education tours.
And Brendan Krause, a nice little spin move again would help. And there's a shot, and that is going to work.
Gavin Peen
Yep.
with the second goal of the game, 6 on the season.
So we'll hit Normandy about 3 days.
For all the young kids watching at home, that's how you shoot a lacrosse ball. You put it on the carpet, goes low to high. Utah's goalie went down to his knees and couldn't pop up quick enough in order to get that one out of the air.
There you get a good look at Gavin. He is a second classman from Ridgewood, New Jersey. 2 year civilians, that's a junior. And right now, Falcons just got to keep this momentum going. I think some of the fans getting into it, we can kind of hear them through the glass here, and I think they are just really starting to, we got a flag down. We've got a flag down. Let's see what this is, where this is going to go.
It's going to be on Air Force. It was either a slash or a hold. I couldn't really tell, but the guy got his kind of stick wrapped up around his helmet and his neck.
Well, a slash will give them a minute. If it's a hold, it's a 30. But the Utes will have a man advantage. And the flag remains on the field as play resumes here. Time to make a play.
Yeah, Utah's going to hold on to this unless they get a pretty picture at the goal, because they know as soon as it's either a shot clock or they lose possession, they're just going to get the ball back.
Well, they're going to let it fly. Did the shot clock expire, perhaps? I thought I heard a horn, which would indicate as such, I think, Danny.
Correct. The shot clock did expire, but with the flag on the field, Air Force is going to have to send someone to the sin bin.
Well, that's been out there for a while. That's why I'm a little confused here, because that's been sitting out there for a while.
Yeah, so as long as it's just like hockey, and so as long as they keep possession, they're not going to call it dead for the flag until they lose possession, or in this case, the shot clock expired.
So again, Falcons a man down.
And I'm pretty sure that was a 30-second hold.
Can't have anything working against you at this point. Falcons really setting back every time that ball goes somewhere. A Falcon will follow. This one was knocked away. I think the Falcons got a piece of that.
Yeah, James Chastain eating one for his goalie. Man after my own heart. And Air Force is back to full strength.
And there's a big shot, a big goal by the Utes.
Utes goal by number 9, Peter Hagan.
Let's see who let that one fly. That appears to have been Peter Hagan, number 9.
It's his second goal of the season. Utah's back up by 3 goals, 9-6.
7:04 left to go in this ASUN Conference opener.
Those places are great. When I was living in D.C., that's the only place I'd go to get my beer and wine.
Legal procedure on Air Force. Utah's going to get the ball in that face-off.
Under 7 minutes left to play, as you can see.
Oh, Belching beaver. I just said melting beaver.
This match has lived up to what we thought it would be, tight all the way, but almost like a horse race. You've got them neck and neck, and then one sticks his nose out, then it's half a length, then it's a length, and certainly Utah with about with a 3-goal lead right now, trying to win this ASUN Conference opener and take over the first spot.
Yep, and they're in no rush here on offense right now.
Not with the time remaining, and double team by Air Force.
20 seconds left on the shot clock for Utah.
I don't think they'll get too terribly excited if that expires, but they'll let one fly anyway. And that was number 7, Josh Rose, who let one go. So now the Falcons, perhaps with a sense of urgency right now, they got to score quick, fast, and in a hurry. And there's a man that can do it right there. He already has one. It's Brandon Krause. Falls down, ball is loose. Air Force should have it, and they will have it. I think there was Shad Bruce that recovered. Well, they're going to their big horses right now, Danny, as Brandon Dodd had a look. Body's flying a little bit.
Yeah, they are jumping Brandon Dodd whenever he gets the ball.
I like it for short visits. Muir Woods is good. Like going across the bay and the ferry.
Like you say, they're, like you were saying, Danny, the Utes in really no hurry. They'll work. They will work that clock. Time is definitely on their side.
Yep, it's only a matter of time before Coach Wilson starts telling everyone to go out, lock off the near man, and pressure the ball.
There's a shot which goes wide. I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I think the last time Utah won, Utah got a victory was here. Here's a shot that goes left. The ASUN Conference opener. And the Utes by 3. They'll take all the time they want. There's a shot, a score, and a goal, and that was huge. And that is, I think, number 13, Luc Charbonnier.
Going to get Air Force with an illegal hit after the shot. Utah is going to get an N1.
Let's check the number as he comes off. I gave it to Charbonnier. Let's see if that is accurate.
Penalty to the Falcons, number 25, James Chastain.
I didn't
That's a 1 minute.
the official
1 minute penalty.
announcement there. Utah, if they stay on this path, they will have won their second straight game, but more importantly, they will take over at least a share of the top spot in the ASUN Conference. And the Falcons' 5-game winning streak would come to an end. Unfortunately, it would come to an end here, which is not what they wanted, but 3:55 left to go. Well, I'll tell you what, if they started taking some shots and everything found the goal, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Double team on Brandon Dodd, as they've been doing throughout most of the afternoon. Logan, Utah native.
Looks like they're going to call Utah for a slash there.
And let's see who goes into the box. Well, it'll be a 60 seconds, so that will help Air Force.
Unfortunately, it happened when we were already man down, so we're going to play 5-on-5 down here.
Five to 1 being outscored here in the second half of play as Utah. They've outscored the Falcons 5 to 1.
Penalty for the Utes, number 21, Rylan Lemons.
I'll make a correction on that, 5-2
1
actually.
minute penalty. 1 minute.
Anyway, you slice it though. Well, we talked about it. Danny, you mentioned it in the third quarter, and that apparently came to fruition. But
Air Force here, they can't wait for the perfect opportunity. They just got to start getting looks and get that ball on cage.
Yep, start letting fly. Brandon Dodd will give it a try. Goes wide right, or it was a pass, actually. And here's Krause. Here's the man you want to get that ball into.
Good look.
And a fire and a shot and a score. Just what you said, Danny.
I think that was Brandon Dodd. Another hat trick for him. That's his 6th hat trick on the season. But it's time for Dodd to start acting like Jansport and put the team on his back here, because we got a claw back. It's 10-7 right now, only 3:18 left in the game.
Everything's got to go Air Force's way right now. Everything. Face off. Utah defenders surrounding. They want to make sure they get that ball. That's all there is to that. It's still loose. Anybody want it? It's knocked back by Air Force.
Called an over and back. Air Force is getting the ball again. Air Force is back to full strength.
All right, here we go.
Hopefully the boys can start scoring in bunches here.
Looks a lot better if you're 2 goals down than it was at 4, but unfortunately time is not on the side as we've mentioned. Here's Brandon Dodd. Why not let it fly? We'll see if he can draw something here. There's a flag down. I've got to believe that might go on Utah, wouldn't it, Danny? The way they were defending Brandon Dodd.
Absolutely. Utah's defense is starting to be reminiscent of the Detroit Pistons in the early 90s, and we're playing by the MJ rules with Brandon Dodd because they are just hacking away as soon as he touches the ball. But then again, with Brandon Dodd's size, maybe the MJ reference wasn't the best one, and it's more of a hack-a-shack rules that are going on.
Well, no matter what happens here, if as a visit, I think. Well, Air Force has just got to take advantage of everything they can get right now. Just get it to somebody and just let it fly. Coming up towards the goal. There's a look. There's a score, I believe.
Yep,
and
Brendan Krause.
Yep.
2nd on the day.
And now it's getting interesting.
No better time for Brendan Krause to show up and start scoring goals. 2nd on the day.
Could we get a dramatic finish here with 2:20 left to go?
Braden Gabe up at the face-off X, still got the hot hand. He's got to win this one right now.
You mentioned before, everything's got to go the Falcons' way. Everything. And it does. And here they come. They can cut it to 2, Danny. We could have a wild finish here. But instead,
really nice face-off win, but tried to do a little too much. Not enough pepper on that last shot.
Cesare clearing it.
Air Force is in this deep ride right now. Great ride. Chris Bardock.
That ball has got to go to
Jason Rose out in the 10-man, taking it over midfield.
Here you go.
Finding Dodd.
Set it up. There's a look. Some action in front of the goal. Number 31, I think, was Kyle Griffith who got knocked down. But
Krause in the middle of that windup started to lose possession, and it took something off of his shot there.
Falcons have come alive here in the 4th quarter. 10-8, and I think we have a TO. Do we have a timeout here?
Yes, sir.
And we will take one as well. 1:24 left to go. Falcons within 2, 10-8 in favor of Utah. You are watching Air Force Lacrosse. This is Falcon Vision. See the time remaining in the fourth quarter as the
Air Force is out in their 10-man right now. They're doubling the ball. You got Jason Roses out of the cage, shutting off an attackman. Air Force is all in. Chips are in the middle of the table now.
Now they got to cash them in. 84 seconds left to go. A-Sun conference opener. I think Bill Wilson now at the bottom of your picture is kind of directing traffic, telling him what he wants to do. And here we go.
Turn them back.
That's exactly what they want to do, yeah. Turn them back and get a turnover, force a turnover, get something going here. There's a look. And that one missed.
Now we're in a good position. Double them behind the cage. Don't have to worry about the open netter because it's behind the goal. Now we just got to sandwich them. Keep them there, Jason.
60 seconds to play. And Coach Wilson saying, keep pushing them back, keep pushing them back.
That's the one pass we didn't want to give up, was back to the top, because Jason Rose has got to get back in the cage.
And the man who started the scoring,
We only got 35 seconds to go.
Jared
This is gonna be-
Andriella. 31 seconds left to go. Utah will extend their winning streak.
I don't think
to
they care
2.
about the shot clock at this point.
And the Falcons have their 5-game
Nice hit, Chad Bruce.
And still a 50-50 ball.
Stop the clock.
And I think that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, so the shot clock expired there, but whoever's keeping the time down there forgot to stop the normal game clock. By my calculations, there should be an extra second or two over on the game clock.
Let's see if that is indeed the case, and you called it right on the money. So they will now have 14.8 seconds left to go.
And now we just got to let it loose.
Yep, let fly if you see it. West Payne. And that with 2.4 seconds left to go. Utah will extend their record now to 5-3. Air Force will go to 5-5, and more importantly, the A-Sun conference opener goes to Utah by the score of 10-8, as we predicted. A low-scoring affair, Danny, but I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, you got to give them a little credit with the defense, but there were some shots that some looks that the Falcons had, and they just weren't able to get it between the pipes. And maybe the pipe had something to do with it.
Yeah, you know, hats off to Zion Deshazuri. My apologies if I mispronounced that, but he had a heck of a game today. He made a bunch of big stops right there on the doorstep. Air Force rang the pipe maybe 5 or 6 times, and that's how we end up at 10-8.
And we'll take a break and have some post-game highlights, as the Falcons their next home date will be against Cleveland State in 2 weeks. In the meantime, Utah wins it by the score of 10-8. You're watching Air Force Lacrosse on Falcon Vision. Well, there you see the final score here at Falcon Stadium here at the United States Air Force Academy as Utah wins this ASUN Conference opener by the score of 10-8. And it was a game where, well, you just couldn't expect to run as you see the pregame huddle with the Air Force Academy, and then number 2, Jared Andriella, gets the scoring parade started for the Utes. That made it 1-0 at that point. But Air Force, no surprise here. Here's Brandon Dodd. He hits the equalizer, and it's 1-up at that point. Nice spin move and a goal by number 22 by the Utes, and that was McMahon.
And there was the second one right there, driving from the X. Back to Koa Todd, howitzer from the top of the box.
He had 2 today. Watch this move by Cross. This is great. And Brandon Todd, I think that was his first goal of the day, and at that point it was 8-5. Falcons tried to close the gap a little bit, and that was Peen who gets it. Falcons down by at least 4, were able to cut it to 2, but then probably the biggest goal of the match, that came off the stick of number 12, Brandon Wilson, and the Falcons dropped this one by the score of 10-8. Danny, I think when you look back at this game, it was kind of like the runs for the Utah Utes. You just didn't want that to happen, and unfortunately, when they stuck their nose out in front, they had a tendency, as I use a horse racing reference here, it was a half a length, and then it was a length, and that was pretty much the tail of the tape in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't going to be the last time these two teams face each other. With the way they played today, they'll meet up again later in the conference tournament.
I think it's safe to say that we've got a little rivalry going here as Utah wins it by the score of 10-8. Of course, our thanks to our entire Falcon Vision crew for giving you all the sights and all the action from Falcon Stadium here at the United States Air Force Academy. Cleveland State will be here in 2 weeks as ASUN Conference play continues the rest of the way. And until we see you in about 2 weeks from now, for my broadcast partner, Danny Bellissimo, I'm Jeffrey Werman, bidding you a very pleasant good afternoon from Falcon Stadium here at the United States Air Force Academy.